The game industry has changed once again. What an incredible development, particularly for Xbox, the brand, its place in the gaming space, and most importantly, its fans. Xbox's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, whenever it's finalized, will bring with it an incredible suite of games to the Xbox library. In this video, I want to look at the various studios comprising Activision Blizzard and the various games, past, present, and potential future ones that we can expect to see on Xbox. Let's go. Call of Duty, a behemoth that needs no introduction. Various studios at Activision Blizzard have been working on COD for years, but there are some very exciting developments here to break the monotony of annual releases. Infinity Ward, arguably the best studio working on COD, has confirmed that the team is working on the most ambitious plan in franchise history. It is also confirmed to now be working on the sequel to 2019's Modern Warfare and a sequel to Warzone, both games benefiting from a brand new engine. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, Call of Duty will be taking a break from its annualized release, and there will be no mainline Call of Duty game in 2023. I can only help and think of this as a great thing that will benefit COD, with a less pressured development cycle, more opportunities to truly innovate this seminal IP that many cite has suffered from creative fatigue. Despite its long premiership, there is still a lot of potential in the COD series, and a truly next-gen Call of Duty game like the one Infinity Ward are hinting at is something I believe many gamers will be more than happy to wait for. Overwatch 2. Since its announcement in 2019, things have been quiet because of staff shortages. Whilst in many ways Overwatch 2 is more of an expansion as opposed to a full-blown sequel, its additions are interesting, especially the new story missions, which is great considering how oddly well realized the characters were in the first multiplayer-only title. No formal release date has ever been suggested, but when it does launch, Overwatch 2 should be making a big splash. Diablo IV was also announced in 2019 and with an unconfirmed release date. The massively popular dungeon crawler action RPG will be returning to the series' darker roots and with a lot more customization options and a talent tree system. It's crazy to me that World of Warcraft will belong to Xbox. This ridiculous MMORPG has been running solidly since 2004, despite year after year of people wrongly predicting its death. Imagine if Warcraft ever came to console. I'm also intrigued to see what happens generally with the Warcraft IP. You also have the real-time strategy games, but the lore and material on tap is so dense that there is so much more potential to explore here. And it will be interesting to see what Xbox does with Warcraft. The StarCraft games are held in high reverence by fans of real-time strategies, and yet it's been quite some time since we heard about the IP, and many have wondered whether we would even see a sequel to StarCraft 2. The last expansion for StarCraft 2 was released 6 years ago. There is a possibility that the StarCraft IP may come back, but not in RTS form. Some of you may remember the now cancelled StarCraft Ghost, which was supposed to be a third-person shooter. There were also rumors in 2019 that Blizzard were working on a first-person StarCraft game for 2 years, which was similar to Battlefield, but was then cancelled in favor of Diablo IV and Overwatch 2. Just look at how incredible the cinematics are for StarCraft. There seems to be so much potential here for the IP, and hopefully, the acquisition breeds new life to StarCraft. Do you remember Blur? Considered one of the most underrated arcade racers out there, and built by the now defunct but once legendary studio Bizarre Creations that gave us such gems like Geometry Wars and the seminal Project Gotham Racing series. The game was unique in that it featured licensed cars and real locations, but had vehicular combat with power-ups and weapons. It oozed style, but despite reviewing well and being beloved by those who did play it, the sales numbers just weren't high enough because it launched alongside other races and never got the limelight it really deserved. Now, imagine a Blur crossover with the Forza Horizon series. You know that would be absolutely incredible. Xbox really needs a third-person superhero game to combat its rival PlayStation, which has done very well in this area with SpiderMan and the infamous games, with Wolverine soon to join the fray. The prototype games never really lived up to their full potential, but there is scope there to explore the IP further, and Crackdown, despite being a fun game, severely lacked the polish people desired. Imagine an ultra-violent, open-world superhero game where you can shapeshift, leap, and glide across insane distances, have superhuman strength to take on legions of enemies, including the military, all with next-gen visuals and physics. The Tony Hawk games were legendary, but they suffered from the classic Activision problem of being churned out so often that their releases lost all semblance of what made them great in the first place. The recent remaster of Tony Hawk's rekindled a lot of that old nostalgia for a lot of skater fans, and there is no reason why a fresh take on Tony Hawk's could not do wonders today. Oh, you know we're going to get a Crash game. After all, we saw Xbox's Aaron Greenberg pose with the iconic mascot, and no doubt Spyro the Dragon will also make a reappearance. But other than just getting individual platformer games for these two, what Xbox could potentially have is one epic platformer that brings together all the mascots together. Think about it. Crash, Spyro, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker, Cameo, all in one mega platformer that brings together all their game worlds and characters. The sheer variety on tap would make it a recipe for success. Even a kart racer or a Super Smash Bros. Type brawler is now possible on the Xbox platform, which was once ridiculed for not having any mascots beyond Master Chief, the Gears of War characters, and maybe Fable. There are so many exciting possibilities here. You know what we don't have enough of? Car combat games. Activision had some great car combat games in its library, including the Interstate games and my personal favorite, the Vigilante 8 series that saw just 2 games released, both of which were incredible. The Vigilante 8 games were so good, with an incredible and unique roster of characters, cars, weapon designs, fun maps, and more. We need more games like these, and with the power of next-gen consoles and online play, there is so much room to explore here. Rumors suggest that PlayStation may be getting a new Twisted Metal game, and if that's the case, the revival of a Vigilante 8 series would serve as an excellent counter or alternative. Question is, are the good folks from the original development studio Luxo Flux still milling about? Let's be honest, Grand Theft Auto 6 is not going to be out for quite some time, and what better game to fill that void than a sequel to True Crime? This game series is held dearly in the hearts of many as the gritty, violent, open-world game with an incredible soundtrack to boot. True Crime New York's poor sales scuppered the chances of a release, but a sequel to it, True Crimes Hong Kong, was actually developed and playable from start to finish, but was never released in 2011 owing to quality concerns. An open world game like this could be immensely popular if it had the quality to boot. It does not need to have the astronomical levels of polish and attention that Rockstar games have, but a successor with fun gameplay, good story, a great protagonist, and perhaps even co-op or online play would go far. There are a ton of games that are ripe for Xbox to explore reviving, or having sequels to the likes of the excellent Geometry Wars, Guitar Hero, DJ Hero, Heroes of the Storm, amongst others. Heck, it owns the IP for the legacy Tenchu games, so those could do with remakes or remasters if possible. The hope is that Xbox can do right by these IPs that Activision has either neglected or run to the ground. The future of Xbox and all these Activision Blizzard IPs is truly exciting nonetheless, with the prospect of better management, more capital, and creative freedom leading to what could be a whole slate of incredible IPs, both new and old, to grace us. What are your thoughts on Xbox and the games that Activision Blizzard could bring back? Are there games that I did not mention here that you would like to see brought back? Do let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching.